Hello, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food is Medicine. So let's get cooking. Thank you so much for joining me here in the kitchen. Today we are making a hidden veggie butternut squash mac and cheese. It's entirely vegan, all plant-based, rich in vegetables, so consequently fiber and phytonutrients. And then you're also getting a lot of beans, fiber that way, and also plant-based protein. This is absolutely delicious. It tastes like that Trader Joe's butternut squash mac and cheese you may have found in their frozen aisle. That's one of my fall favorite things to get. And so I was in the mood for that, and I came up with this recipe. I made it last week, perfected some of the spices, and now I am ready to share it with you guys. So thank you so much for being here. If you guys are new here, my name's Hannah Thornburg. I'm actually a second-year resident physician in a family medicine residency program. And I love bringing, nutritional advice and healthy recipes and things that I talk about a lot to my patients about how to incorporate more fiber, more plants, more protein, healthy fats into your diet. I love to bring that from the clinic to the kitchen. And so here we are. Thank you guys so much for joining, and let's get started. So this is kind of the prep for our mac and cheese. So we have, which we love, starting a prep for mac and cheese with cauliflower. Like, what's better than that? You will not taste, actually, let me cut this. You will not taste this cauliflower at all, promise you. If you've been following me for a while, I absolutely love cruciferous vegetables. And so I try and incorporate at least a cup or two of cruciferous veggies every day into my diet. So we have basically what seems to be about 1 head of cauliflower. This is pre-cut cauliflower florets. It's 10 ounces if you're going by weights. So I am going to put that on a pan here. I also have the oven preheated at 400 degrees. We have our cauliflower. Next thing is frozen butternut squash. Again, fresh or frozen, whatever is cheaper, whatever is easier for you. The store did not have fresh butternut squash today, so I got the frozen, and that's going to work just as well. So this is, if you're going by weight, this is 1 pound of butternut squash. Getting that all on our pan here. So beautiful. So we have butternut squash. This is going to add, of course, both of these are going to add a lot of really nice fiber. It's a great way to get a lot of servings of plants in without really even noticing it. The butternut squash will add a little bit of kind of that warm, cozy fall flavor. And then it adds some of the orange for our beautiful mac and cheese. And both of these add a lot of creaminess and really good kind of hearty texture to the mac and cheese. And they're both so good for you. So you've got our carotenoids. You guys know I talk about all the time about carotenoids. Our butternut squash, of course, it's orange, and so it's a good source of carotenoids. So of course, our artificially orange colored things are not a good source of carotenoids. But when it comes to fruits and vegetables, getting a lot of orange in our diet is a great way to get carotenoids. Like we talked about in my previous video as well, actually lycopene from tomatoes is a red pigmented type of carotenoid. If you haven't seen that video, I have that video. It's a homemade bone broth soup. I made that last week and it was absolutely delicious. Really good, healthy meal prep, rich in collagen and a lot of other plants. And you use the whole rotisserie chicken for that. So that's a good one to check out. I have a ton of other videos on my channel that you can check out. A few of the older ones have been blowing up on my channel recently. The golden milk latte, and then the Dash Diet Barley breakfast bowl. People have really found that one and are loving that. So if you want to check out any of my past videos, definitely do as well for some more healthy meal inspiration. But that's how we're going to start this off today. We've got our butternut squash and then our cauliflower. Again, I mentioned I love to incorporate cruciferous vegetables into my diet. As a female of reproductive age, women's health is something that I'm very passionate about. And so I try and get cruciferous vegetables into my diet. The fiber of any vegetables in general helps the body to really metabolize estrogen well. But specifically cruciferous vegetables, they have something called DIM, and I'll include the full name. It's like diindolmethyl supplement. But basically this really helps to balance hormones, to regulate kind of estrogen metabolism. And a lot of people find can help a lot with PMS. And also helps, cruciferous vegetables help to decrease your risk for things like breast cancer and a lot of those estrogen sensitive cancers. And so as a woman or just anyone trying to pursue their health in general, cruciferous vegetables are a great thing to get in. So anyway, enough yapping. I always do that about kind of the health benefits because I want you guys to be able to visualize the benefits of what we're eating in the kitchen. I think it helps to enhance motivation to eat healthy things. And it's also just kind of fun to think about and visualize and kind of educate yourself on. Because I think, just like you say, the medications you use or, the workouts you decide to do, I think you should really have a sense of agency and knowledge about what you're putting into your body and how it can benefit you or not in some cases. So moving on, our oven is preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to cook these guys for about 30-45 minutes, basically until they look nice and cooked. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of olive oil on top for a healthy fat. Our lovely monounsaturated fats, olive oil, specifically extra virgin olive oil, is a great healthy fat to get. That's about probably 2 or 3 tablespoons. And then I'm adding some paprika. This is one of my favorite fall spices. I actually wish I had smoked paprika because that adds such an even better flavor, but I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of paprika on now. We're going to use more paprika later on in our recipe when we blend all these guys together. But I just like the cohesiveness of including, a little bit of that while we bake the veggies, and then we're going to add some more of that later. So here's our paprika. And then, of course, salt and pepper. If you're trying to do DASH diet, this is another DASH diet friendly. I try to make all these recipes. I think there's such an overlap, but this really should be DASH diet friendly if you guys limit or avoid the salt altogether. This follows, kind of the general consensus of anti-inflammatory or Mediterranean diet. Getting a lot of plant-based foods, really rich in fiber, nutrients, limiting a lot of our cholesterol, highly processed, sugary foods. This fits into a lot of specific kind of diet niches, and what I kind of like to base my diets off of, which I think incorporates a lot of those healthy evidence-based diets like the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. I like to make sure that my diets have FFPP. So if they have healthy fats, okay, we got our olive oil. If they have fiber, we've already got our cauliflower, we've already got our butternut squash. We're going to be doing bean pasta and beans in general. So that's covering our fiber in this meal. And then so fat, fiber, and then protein, P for protein. So we're definitely going to be getting good protein from our bean pasta, as well as adding more beans to this recipe. And then plants. Obviously, we've talked about that ad nauseum already, but we have plants in this recipe. And so I think if you use that, if it's too overwhelming to try and follow a certain diet per se with different types of foods, getting those fundamental parts to your plate should be a really good way to start. And you may accidentally be following some of those diets a little bit less strictly if you kind of go by this method. Of course, if your doctor recommends a certain diet, definitely do that. But I'm talking if you're just trying to create a healthful meal for yourself, there's a lot of overlap, and I found that FFPP can really help to make things a little bit more simple and think about what you're adding and not what you're avoiding. Anyway, super chatty today. But anyway, I'm going to put these guys in the oven. We're going to bake for about 30 to 45 minutes. Once they are all well cooked, we're going to blend it all together. In the meantime, I'm also going to be using I like Banza protein. It's made from chickpeas. Each serving has 20% of your protein. Honestly, not really. If you're doing like a gram per pound, or if you're doing more protein than that, but 11 grams of protein. And it has 5 grams of fiber per serving with only 1 gram of sugar, 0 grams added sugar. So if you ask me, pretty solid. So I'm going to get those boiled as well. So we have our pasta ready, we have our veggies cooked. Then we're going to blend it all together, mix it all together, and enjoy our wonderful Hidden-Veggie butternut squash vegan mac and cheese. So thank you guys. Going to get those in the oven now. Going to sip on my coffee, enjoy the fall vibes, and I will get back to you guys when these are out of the oven. All right, welcome back, you guys. I'm going to get the veggies out of the oven. The pasta's already ready, and we have our blender here. So got all my other ingredients. Of course, they've been listed in the caption below, and we're gonna get blending and put this together. You'll see how quick it is once the prep's done. We're gonna get this together in like 5 minutes. It's super easy, and again, so good. I'm so excited to have it. So, grabbing our veggies fresh out of the pan. Hope you guys can see. They are stunning and smell so good. I'm gonna use my lovely towel. Okay, here comes the part where it's really hard to be graceful on camera, but I'm I'm gonna do my best. So I'm gonna try and scoop all these veggies into our lovely blender. Take a hot second, but these look so good. Cooking them just kind of softens them up a bit, and some will say that cooking makes vegetables a bit easier to digest, which I personally agree with. Besides salads, I like to have most of my veggies well cooked. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and scrape it. Sorry, guys. Okay. Get those in there. Again, part of the whole goal of this is to show, you know, it's kind of normalize cooking in just like a casual setting. And so here we are. Okay, perfect. We got those guys in there. Turn off my oven. Okay. And then I'm also going to bring this pasta over. So the Banza pasta, all set. Again, chickpea pasta. So we love that. We're going to combine this once it's blended into here. But first, let's get to adding the rest of our ingredients. So I've got my measuring cups and my measuring spoons. And the first thing I want to add is going to be the nutritional yeast. So we're going to do 1/4 of a cup of nutritional yeast. Anyone who is vegan or aims to be plant-based, you'll see nutritional yeast used a lot to kind of add like a cheesy flavoring to things. So of course, mac and cheese, we're adding nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast also has a lot of B vitamins and has some protein as well. So very nice there. This is one of those things that if you are vegan, you know, vitamin B12 primarily almost completely comes from animal protein. Jenny has come to join us. Let me get her. Oh, come here, miss. Come here, miss. Hello. Say hi to everyone. Again, I'm not cooking this for you guys, so she's on the counter, but don't worry. It's just for me and my husband. She used to be in all my videos. So anyway. Hi, miss. Welcome to the show. We tried to get her off the counters back in the day, and she just doesn't listen. So she's my little sous chef. Say hello to everyone. Okay, wonderful. So anyway, B12 comes primarily from animal protein. And so getting B12 from nutritional yeast for vegans is a really nice way to do that. Otherwise, taking a B12 supplement, B12 is super important. If you only eat plants, make sure you're getting it. So nutritional yeast, for our standpoint, it's to add our nice cheesy flavor. Then next, I'm going to add 1 can, again, BPA-free can. If you guys have been following along, make sure your cans are BPA-free so you don't get any endocrine disruptors, but 1 can of coconut milk. This is also going to contribute to kind of the, I'm not going to say the cheesy flavor, but definitely adds to the creaminess, that nice milky texture, which we love. And then the beans are going to come in later. And then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of paprika. Okay. Again, spices are a great other way to get plants into, oh, really overdid that there, you guys. We're putting the rest back. There you go. So 1 teaspoon of paprika. This is a really nice way to get a lot of anti-inflammatory, like plant compounds. That might be a little paprika, oops, but I don't mind paprika, and it's not smoked, so it's not as strong. And then we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. This one, I got to make sure I get right, you guys, because this one is strong if you do too much. I did 1/2 teaspoon the first time I made it, and I was like, oh, got to tweak that down a bit when I'm making this for you guys. So this is 1/4 teaspoon cayenne. Of course, if you don't like spicy, you don't have to do any, but I think this adds a really nice spice to our recipe. And then, of course, because we're kind of going for those cozy fall vibes, again, if you don't like the fall flavor as much and you want it more simple, you don't have to do this, but I'm adding a little bit of nutmeg. And by a little, I mean 1/8 of a teaspoon. So just a tiny little note of nutmeg. But again, more spices. Great way to get some plant compounds in there, so we love that. And the nutmeg adds just, to me, such a cozy fall flavor. And so I really like it. And I think it also adds a lot of warmth that you kind of like to have in mac and cheese. So really good as well. So we've got all of our spices in there. And I'm going to add just a little, actually, no, we don't need to add olive oil again because we already have our fats in there. But I'm going to add a little bit more, the fats from the coconut milk. I'm going to add a little bit more pepper and salt for flavor. Just kind of a dash or a shake of that. And then this is something that I'm actually trying with this recipe. I'll let you guys know my final taste test if it was worth doing, but I could not resist. I found these little crushed turmeric cubes at the grocery store. They're frozen. And so I'm just adding one, which is the equivalent of 1 teaspoon of turmeric. That is going to, of course, add a really potent orange flavor. Turmeric is also, often used as a natural coloring agent to make things more orange. Again, this is already going to be orange without the turmeric, but turmeric is one of the most potent anti-inflammatory foods. I love to include turmeric for just, decreasing inflammation, supporting brain health in general. Turmeric is just such a really great thing to have. So I love to add it to just about anything I can. It does have a very strong bitter flavor. And so I'm going to let you guys know if this is good in this recipe. I'm experimenting a little bit here. I'll let you guys know at the end. And if I include it in the ingredient list below, that means it was good, or I'm just going to say optional. But I wanted to try that this time around. I've refined all the other spices, but I couldn't resist trying turmeric. So anyway, let's blend this all up. As you guys can see, pretty easy to get all these just thrown in there, essentially making a smoothie for our cheese base. So really good. Let's blend it up. Beautiful. About 20 seconds. Beautiful. So that blends super nicely. Again, love having those veggies cooked. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. If you guys want to make it a little bit cheesier, you can always add more nutritional yeast, but this is perfect for me. The smell is so good. I'm actually going to taste it just because I want to make sure the flavoring is all right. And see how the turmeric tastes too. I'm just curious. Perks of cooking for yourself is you can have your cat on your counter and you can taste test things as much as you want. So, that is so good. The spices are perfected from last time. I was a little overpowering with my spices last time. The ratios I have here, perfect. So good. This literally tastes like the Trader Joe's one. If you guys know what I'm talking about, drop a comment. The Trader Joe's butternut squash mac and cheese is like my favorite seasonal thing ever. This is like textbook just like it, and I'm so proud of myself. This is so good. So anyway, I'm going to pour this into our pasta. Like, look how good that is, you guys. And it's literally like a veggie smoothie you're pouring in and making mac and cheese. Like, this is so freaking good for you. I'm very, very hyped about this, if you can't tell. Okay, got that there. Put this aside. And then last but not least, because beans are so good for you and so yummy, I'm going to add some cannellini beans. Is that how you say it? No, but these are really good. I was actually looking for lima beans because I feel like those would be like big and like such a good flavor. But I wanted to add another like layer of texture, and I feel like beans kind of make it feel a little bit hearty. Of course, the pasta is bean pasta, but even if you're not doing bean pasta and like whole grain pasta or like a quinoa brown rice pasta, I know they have that at Trader Joe's. Now I'm adding cannellini beans. Please, someone, send the pronunciation if it's bothering you. I will not be offended. But I'm adding our beans in there again, just to get more plant-based fiber. Beans are just so good for your gut health in general. They help your gut to produce those short chain fatty acids that are just so good for the gut mucosa and the gut lining. And they are just one of those foods that are like correlated with longevity in just about every population. So the beans, so good for you. We're adding more of them because we love them. And I am going to stir this all up. This just looks heavenly. I wish you guys could smell this. So good. It's super saucy. You could always do 2 bags of pasta if you want more pasta to sauce ratio. But honestly, for me, this is perfect. It's so creamy and so freaking good. I'm going to show you guys a close-up of this. When I taste tested it too, I didn't taste too much of the turmeric, so I'll let you guys know. And I'll get a close-up for you guys to see, but here is kind of what we're dealing with. It's so good. Like, I cannot emphasize enough. My husband also freaked out with this, and I will say it stores really well. When I was experimenting with this recipe last week, even though the spices weren't perfect ratios, which now they are, honestly, it stored so well. It warms up in the microwave and it just tastes just as delicious. He even thought it tastes better for leftovers. And so this is heavenly. Let me do a little taste test and then I'm going to show you guys the close-ups. But I just want to see how the turmeric is. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's perfect. Literally perfection. I would say for the turmeric, just because I know turmeric super well, I use it a lot. There's like a slight note of turmeric, but for me, I get excited about the health benefits, and so it doesn't bother me at all. I don't think most people would notice that there's turmeric in there, but it does give it a little slight layer of bitterness. If you have turmeric a lot, you might notice it too. But I think overall, you can't really taste it too much. And so I think that's perfect. I'm going to keep including turmeric in mine, and I'll include that in the recipe below for you guys. But that's just the fun of cooking, honestly. It's like, I hope you guys can see that, like, I love experimenting in the kitchen. Oh, here's this, here's this spice, the turmeric that I know is so good for me. I love this recipe. I changed some of the spices around. Now let's try the turmeric. Let's see how it is. That is the art of cooking, and that's what makes it so much fun for me, is you're really kind of in your lab making your own recipes, and you can know the benefits of certain ingredients and gear it towards your goals and just experiment with it, have fun with it. You're not cooking for some 5-star restaurant where there's going to be someone reviewing your food. I aim to make these perfect for you guys so you guys can enjoy. I don't post the first recipe that I kind of experiment with. I make sure it's perfect for you guys because obviously I care about that. But when it comes to just cooking in your own kitchen, I kind of, I was telling my husband, I'm like, I'm just going to include the turmeric in my video and just see how it is. And if it's good, I'll include it on the ingredient list. If not, I'm going to remove it. But I wanted to show you guys too. One, I wanted to experiment with it, but two, I wanted to show you guys the whole experimentation process in the kitchen. Just make it a little less intimidating. It's something that anyone can do. This recipe is so good for you. So I hope you enjoy. And again, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy this meal. If you try it, please let me know. This one's heavenly. This one's truly one of my favorites, and we're going to be making this all fall. When we have kids someday, this is definitely something that you can kind of sneak veggies in. For adults, which we love, we absolutely love this, but for kids too, this is one that I'm definitely going to be making for a little kiddo someday, God willing. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for joining. I have so much more fun recipes coming this fall and just this year in general, now that I'm no longer an intern, so I have more free time. And so definitely subscribe if you have not yet. I have a lot of recipes already posted, everything from homemade hummus to that golden milk latte, which is so good. Again, that one has turmeric as well. So if you're looking to incorporate turmeric, that's a good one. We have some, really good recipes that I've already posted, more to come. So definitely subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you guys so much for joining me in the kitchen. It's always my favorite thing to do. So appreciate you all. Have an amazing whatever day it is when you're watching this, and I hope you enjoy this meal. I'm about to have it for lunch right now. So very excited. Thank you guys for joining.